Our reading this morning comes from the Hebrew Bible, the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verses 1 through 8. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lofty, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. The seraphim were in attendance above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces. With 2 they covered their feet. With 2 they flew. And one called to another and said, Holy, 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 the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. The pivots of the threshold shook at the voices of those who called, the house filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, I am lost. Woe is me, I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among people of unclean lips. Yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. And then one of the servants flew to me, holding a live coal that has been taken from the altar with a pair of thongs. The servant touched my mouth with it and said, Now that this has touched your lip, your guilt has departed, your sin is blotted out. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Who shall I send? Who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me. Good morning, friends. What a glorious day for ordination. What a beautiful day. It's so good to be with you all. Members of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Rappahannock, my colleagues, Susan's family and friends, it is indeed a great honor and privilege to be with you this morning on the ordination of my dear friend and colleague, Susan Doyle Mosley. Susan, my dear friend, you've been waiting for this day for a long time. The path that you traveled to get here has been filled with fits and starts. From when you began your ministry as the church educator for the Westminster Presbyterian Church in Wilmington, Delaware, to when we first met when you served as intern and summer minister at First UU at Richmond. There has been many obstacles along your journey, but yet you persist. Not to mention the challenges that you face as you begun the arduous process of becoming a fellowship UU minister. And during the last 19 months, you had to learn new technology to do ministry and care for your congregants by Zoom. My friends, you have experienced a lot of trials and yet a lot of successes. But through it all, you handle this journey with grace, determination, and devotion to your call. So we are gathered here today to celebrate your ordination, one of the most important traditions of our UU faith. The members of the UU Fellowship of the Rappahannock decision to ordain you on this morning represents this congregation's faith and their continued support of your ministry. In a sacramental view of ordination, there are sacred powers conferred. In a non-sacramental view, it is a recognition of the divine act on each person's life. And this recognition of you being called forth is also a recognition of you setting apart, functioning as a rite of initiation, taken from your current status as pastor and initiating you into the community of ordained clergy. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, the ritual ordination allows you to use the title of Reverend. The formal recognition of your entry into service as a UU minister also offer initiation and communal transformation, as well as an opportunity to share our faith with a world that desperately needs to hear the life-transforming, life-saving good news of Unitarian Universalists. Now, unlike other faith traditions, the authority to ordain and call ministers rests squarely within the congregation. 2.5 years ago, after 20 successful years of lay-led ministry, this congregation made a bold decision and to put their trust and faith in clergy-led leadership. They put out a call, and you responded, my friend, by saying, "Here I am, send me." My friends of UUFR, you have done well. So Susan, in a few moments, you will be called forth from the community, set apart, and have sacred powers conferred. Hands will be laid upon you. Prayers will be given. You will receive a stole. And from that point forward, you will be known as the Reverend Dr. Susan Doyle Mosley. But Susan, remember, this cannot be done apart from the will of the people. And what's happening today is indeed a big deal, and you should celebrate. But let's not make this too much of a big deal, okay? Because as important as this day, it is only the day of your ordination. And while what you do on this day matters and makes a difference, what would matter the most and make the most significant difference is what you do of your ministry tomorrow, the next day, the one after that, and in the months and years to come. So I don't know what those days would be like for you, and neither do you. And I don't know what your ministry will ask you to give. None of us do. But you may find the words from the 6th chapter of Isaiah helpful. In that passage, we learn how the prophet Isaiah, through a vision from the Lord, begins his ministry for God. In the vision, the Lord asks, "Who shall I send, and who would go for us?" The response was to volunteer for service. "Here am I, send me." Now, before Isaiah could say, "Here am I, send me," he had a problem that had to be addressed. Isaiah was made aware of his own unworthiness. "Woe to me, I am ruined, for I am a man with unclean lips, and I live among people of unclean lips. My eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty." Standing in the Lord's presence, Isaiah is painfully made aware of his transgressions, and he is broken. Now, after Isaiah acknowledged his transgressions, a seraph, or angel, if you will, takes a burning piece of coal from the altar, touches Isaiah's lips, and said, "See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away and your sin atoned for." It is only after Isaiah is clean of his sin that he said, "Here am I, send me." Prior to that point, he saw himself as an unworthy messenger. Once he was forgiven, he immediately desired to serve the Lord in whatever way possible. The Lord asked, "Who shall I send, and who will go for us?" He wants willing volunteers in his service, and his grateful and enthusiastic Isaiah doesn't hesitate in taking the opportunity. "Here am I, send me." So as I was preparing for this sermon and read the Isaiah passage, 2 lines immediately stood out and stuck with me. They describe 2 realities of ministry. Now, it's probably not the one you are expecting, but here's the first one. "Woe to me," I cried, "I am ruined." Those were Isaiah's words when he saw the Holy One, and when he looked within himself at the doorpost, and the thresholds of his life were shaken. And Susan, there will come a time when they are your words too. Every time you preach, there will be someone struggling with life, hanging on by a thread, waiting for and needing a good word from you. Woe to me, I am ruined. When the church leaves you disillusioned, people disappoint you, and your feelings will get hurt. Woe to me, I am ruined. At night, when you crawl into your bed, exhausted and second-guessing yourself, regretting a wrong decision or recalling what you have done and left undone, woe to me, I am ruined. On those days when you're no longer sure what you believe, and you wonder If you are enough for this work, woe to me, I am ruined. When there's disagreement, conflict, and you want to run away, believe me, I know about those days. Woe to me, I am ruined. There will be situations when you don't know what to do, that ask more than you have to give and leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. Woe to me, I am ruined. Woe to me, I am ruined. But Susan, be careful how you hear those words. They are not what you think they are. They're not gloom and doom. They are not about inadequacy or deficiencies in you or anyone else. And they're not about failure or giving up. They are the words by which Isaiah is opening his heart. They are his self-reckoning and a recognition of his responsibility and accountability. Ultimately, they are Isaiah's confession, surrender to the sender, the sending one. Let them be that for you. For you, too, are now a sent one. Now, the second line that stood out to me is the one I'm giving right now. And I said, here am I, send me. So there will be days when you are touched by the mystery, weep with joy, and live with gratitude. Here am I, send me. At times you will be overwhelmed by the intimacy of pastoral care, the trust placed in you, and the secret shared with you. Here am I, sent me. Circumstances and people will call you more deeply in your ministry. You will say things that you didn't know and do things that you never thought you could. Here am I, sent me. Susan, some days your heart will break for the pain for this world and the hurt of the people in the beloved community. And you will be filled with compassion that you can't contain. Here am I, sent me. There will be times when you have to respond prophetically to social problems in our society, racism, poverty, inequality, all kinds of discrimination, division, and other forms of injustices. Here I am, here am I, sent me. And on some nights, you will fall in bed exhausted, thankful for having sent, excited and ready to go back to work again, to do the work that you're called to do. Here am I, sent me. Woe to me, I'm ruined. Here am I, sent me. Susan, can you sense the tension between those two lines? The tension that all of us, all ministers feel deeply every day. In this article, Interrupting Silence, Mike Marsh tells us that there's a tension in those two lines from Isaiah. It is not one or the other. It's not both at the same time. And that's the paradox in which you are stepping in this morning. There's a tension in which you would live in your ministry. And one calls you to be humble, honest, and authentic. And the other calls you to be courageous, faithful, and willing. The tension in that paradox will tug and pull at you. And you will feel if you are being torn apart. In reality, the tension I'm asking you to hold those two lines together in your heart. And I hope you never say one to the exclusion of the others, but always both at the same time. Woe to me, I am ruined. Here am I, sent me. So Susan, show your congregants those two realities in your life and help them to name them in their lives. The tension is not unique to you or exclusive to ministry. It lives in us all. We often think what deprives us of peace, but in reality, peace resides in the tension. You may think that those two lines from Isaiah as making a way of peace. Find and refine the peace for yourself. Tell the members of UUFR about it. Show the community of Whitestone. Offer to them. Call on them. Teach them to say, woe is me, I'm ruined. Here am I, sent me. Hold them accountable for finding and refining the peace for themselves. So Susan, let me close with this. Remember, the ministry is shared between you and the people that you're called to serve here at UUFR. It is sacred dimension of your work. Treat each other kindly. If so, you'll be building something together, something beautiful and enduring. Together, you will build the beloved community. May you serve the people and our Unitarian Universalist Association with esteem, integrity, dignity, and grace. And Susan, there are a few words that can describe the excitement and joy that I'm feeling for you for this morning. At this moment, you have come a long way, and I'm blessed that I've been invited to join you on this journey. I am abundantly blessed to have you as a colleague, but most importantly, to be called your friend. Blessing to you, my dear one.